Greetings, Hein Schafer here, Senior Vice President of Product and Strategy, and with me I have...
I'm Closset. I'm the Product Manager for the GTI, Golf R, and Arteon.
Cool, and we're here today to talk to you about the all-new Golf GTI and the all-new Golf R. Megan, before we dive into the new car, let's take it back to Generation 1. Where did it really all start?
Way back in 1983 for the US, Hein, we had the Mark I Rabbit GTI, a whopping 1.8 liter, 90 horsepower, 5-speed manual, really special car. Started to show Americans that they could have a practical, fun-to-drive car that didn't really compromise on a whole heck of a lot.
So fast track forward, 7 generations on, and now we introduced the Generation 8. And this still has some of those original heritage elements that were present in the Mark I. Talk us through some of those elements.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at the very front and you've got some red elements going right through the grille. You've got a large version of the honeycomb elements that carry into the interior as well. So honeycomb is a big GTI piece. You've got red accents throughout the car. You've got red brake calipers. You've got standard plaid cloth sport seats, which take it all the way back to the first generation. And then even on the manual transmission, you'll recognize golf ball details on the Mark 8, just like we had on the Mark I.
And I remember the Mark I had a 14-inch alloy wheel. This guy's got something a little bigger.
Yeah, that's right, Hein. So the 18-inch wheel is standard on the Mark 8 GTI, but for the first time in North America, we're offering an optional 19-inch alloy wheel that you can see here.
And the Mark I had something like, what, 90 horsepower under the hood?
Yeah, 90 horsepower for the US, 1.8 liter, normally aspirated.
Talk to us about what's under those hood.
A little bit of an upgrade. 4th generation of the E8 888 motor, so still a 2-liter TSI, direct fuel injection, which we're familiar with from the previous generation. But now, thanks to advancements in that engine, we're at 241 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. Whoa. And still, just like previous generation GTI, either a 6-speed manual, of course, or the great 7-speed DSG.
And that's a big talking point. I mean, many manufacturers today have walked away from the manual. We as Volkswagen have retained that manual. So an all-new car relative to the Mark 7, improved enhancements to suspension, driving aids, etc. as well?
So everything on the vehicle has been optimized from the previous generation, and you're looking at quite a bit more standard content on every trim level. We've retained the same familiar S, SE Autobahn trim level that we had throughout pretty much all of the 7th generation, with more standard content at every trim level as well. So whether it's having LED headlights standard on the S trim, or now having brand new features for the Autobahn trim, such as a heads-up display, or rear heated seats, or ventilated front seats, the new Mark 8 GTI is all about having the same great standard performance and sporty content, but upping the game quite a bit in terms of some of the more luxury or comfort content.
So now the only concern is brand new car, better engine, better suspension, more standard content. Does that mean the price jumps a lot?
I think we have quite a big win here. Yep. We take an S trim manual transmission 2022 brand new GTI built in Wolfsburg, Germany. $29,545 is the MSRP for that car.
Awesome. Should we jump in the interior and talk about the inside?
It's pretty hot. I think that's a good idea.
It's about 100 degrees out here. Let's get in the AC.
Right.
All right, Megan, so I am in the back of the GTI. I'm not the smallest individual, it's 6'5", but relatively comfortable in the back here.
Okay, good
in front
to hear.
of me, I can see these beautiful integrated headrest, sporty seats. Do you want to start there?
Yeah, I think that was actually one of our big wins for this generation, Hein. We saw these on the European specification vehicle, and we were worried that they wouldn't come for the US model, and here we are. We're in a US spec GTI, and we've got these beautiful integrated head restraint seats. You've got nice bolstering on the leather vehicle. You've got perforations, which of course mean the Autobahn trim or optional leather seat package on the SE trim. You've got ventilated seats. Heated seats remain standard on GTI, and then that takes me to the standard seat for GTI. Same shape, same look, but the nice new sport plaid material and pattern as well.
Pretty sweet. And I've got my own vents back here with my own AC touch system, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Talk us through the driver's view. I mean, I can still see that chunky GTI steering wheel. I see very much a driver's orientated cockpit from my angle over here.
It's very much at its heart a driver-focused vehicle. This is still a GTI at heart, but at the same time, it's taken the shift towards a very digital future. So I actually love the combination of both digital and connectivity in being a driver's vehicle. So steering wheel, nice paddles with the DSG. We've got nice GTI accents on the leather-wrapped steering wheel also. New haptic feedback buttons, which I actually am a big fan of. I like the way that they respond to touch. You get a little bit of audible feedback also. And then PEEP, the new heated steering wheel button. Heated steering wheel being standard on GTI. And then the Digital Cockpit Pro, standard on GTI as well, something we didn't have in previous generation. You'll notice I've got it here in sport mode, which automatically triggers a GTI view that I've customized.
Cool. Yeah.
We've got all of our light and sight features here on the digital panel on the left, so automatic headlights, fog lights, defroster even. And then sweeping over here to the right, we've got this beautiful 10.25-inch MIB3 navigation with Discover Pro as well.
And I see that's got no buttons, but I believe those sliders super intuitive, very simple to use. There's an easy furrow there. You can slide between your temps, fan speed, volume, all that stuff is easily controlled. And then I like the very quick kind of access menu just below that with the hazard signs over there. You've got access to your climatronic system, your driver assist systems, your different drive modes, and then also your parking menu, right?
Yeah, so very quick access to all of the climate controls. So by the way, a single zone climatronic is standard, with a 3-zone climatronic being standard on Autobahn. Driver assist menu, you can customize those features really easily. Get into the new the drive mode selection menu really easily as well, so no sweat there. And then you just tap out X, get back to the home button for the MIB3 screen, and it's really easy from here.
Cool. Then I noticed just focusing down on the center console, no more big stick shift over there. So talk us through this little interesting buttons we have on there.
So it's a little bit different now. It's a DSG still, same system. It's just shift by wire. So the controls are a little bit different, but rest assured, you still have sport mode. You can still enter in sport mode. You can still manually shift just like before. So no changes there. And what that does do is it frees up a little bit of space here to have some extra storage. We've got a cool adjustable cup holder. Wireless charging is standard. And then we still have an adjustable and opening, sliding center console there. The Mark 8 Golf R has this feature as well. Electronic parking brake, new feature for GTI. A really cool start-stop button, which you might notice a little touch there when the car is at rest and it's waiting for you to start. Right. It'll pulse like a heartbeat, which is kind of cool.
And of course, the manual still gets a proper manual gear stick.
It sure does. Yeah, still 6-speed. It's got the golf ball dimples on it as you grip it, so it's got that classic GTI feel.
The other feature I also love is the sunroof, where you just with a slide of the finger basically open the sunroof, which I think is ultra cool too, right?
Yeah.
Super cool. So a lot more tech, a lot more digital, but still a driver-focused cockpit, right?
Yeah, and one of the things you love as being a driver is having a great audio system. And we have an all-new optional Harman Kardon premium sound system on GTI with 480 watts, and it sounds really great.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right, we got another star of the show to talk about. Should we go and talk about the R a little?
Yeah, let's talk about R.
Let's do it. Okay, Megan, here we have it. The all-new Golf Mark 8R.
Best one ever.
And I think before we get into the details of that, much like the GTI, let's go back to where it all started. Now, it started back in 2003, where a bunch of Wolfsburg engineers from our GmbH said, let's make the fastest Golf ever produced. We know they crammed that legendary 3.2 V6 engine into...
Not just a V6, but the VR6.
The VR6 mated to a very closely knitted 6-speed transmission with that famous Holdex 4Motion system, and they produced the legendary R32. Now in the US, I think we were lucky to get about 5,000 of those.
5,000 units, 4 colors, 2004 model year.
4 colors, and it really became an instant icon.
There's just something about that car that is legendary, and I think with the Mark 8, the engineers have taken that feel and elevated it to an all-new place.
Really, I think the Mark 8, from our perspective, having driven both this and the Mark 7 on Summit Racetrack, it really feels like it separates itself in even a bigger way to the GTI than in the previous generations, right?
Seriously, the difference between a Mark 7 and a Mark 8 Golf R is huge. And don't let us just tell you that. There's a difference in lap time alone. One of our professional drivers with Volkswagen R was able to best his lap time at the Nürburgring Nordschleife by 19 seconds in a Mark 8 Golf R compared to a Mark 7 Golf R. So these vehicles are immensely cool. But also with the GTI becoming better and better and better, it became apparent, I think, to VWR that they had to take this R up to a totally different playing field.
Right. Now, 19 seconds on the Nürburgring is no slouch. That comes with a little bit of extra horsepower, right?
There is a little bit more. We're up now to above 300 horsepower. We've hit 315 horsepower with this Mark 8 Golf R, 295 pound-feet of torque with the DSG transmission. So it's definitely an improvement in terms of the pure numbers, but Hein, the really big improvements on this car are chassis development. The DCC, which is the adaptive damping system, it's still standard on Golf R. It's been totally recalibrated and optimized for the system. They've shaved nearly 7 pounds of unsprung weight out of the subframe by using aluminum components. Wow. So it's just underneath the vehicle to the evolved 4th generation EA888 with more horsepower than ever that makes for a vehicle that just frankly leaves the Mark 7 Golf R in the dust.
Wow, that's impressive. Now, before we talk about the brakes and some of those other elements, let's maybe just talk about the design cues on this car.
Cool.
I think we're here at the front, and Megan, obviously quite different to the GTI on the front end.
You're going to have more aggressive air intakes, just a more aggressive front end, front lip, Of course, this car's signature lapis blue metallic, and you'll notice more blue accents on the Golf R this time around than before. So you'll see the obviously the illuminated grille at the top, and then the blue strip, new R logo, blue throughout the headlights, and then we carry the blue and the R accents. And then of course you'll notice the aluminum look mirror caps, which the European model has as well. Something we wanted on the Mark 7, finally have it.
Awesome, awesome. Now you've said that obviously it's not only about the horsepower, it's about the brakes, it's about the DCC system. Talk to me about these brakes. They look a little larger, they look pretty impressive. I see those signature blue R calipers.
Yes, Hein, your eyes do not deceive you. These are Golf R specific brakes. They are 1 inch larger on the front rotors compared to the Mark 7. They are now not only cross drilled, but they also have 2-piece calipers. So they are a bit of a performance upgrade compared to the Mark 8 GTI. The rear brakes do remain the same between the two vehicles.
And these wheels are beautiful. They look large, 19s.
They are, yes. These are 19-inch wheels. They're standard. Beautiful finish. You'll notice there's a little Easter egg on there. They've got the new R logo kind of hiding on the rim of the wheel there, which I think is a cool touch.
Awesome, awesome. Now, one of the things I loved about the Mark 7R was it also had an aggressive rear.
Yeah.
This one takes it up a notch on the area, right?
Yeah, it definitely does. Let's go take a look at it.
Let's go take a look at the back. So as I said, I think one of my favorite parts of the Golf 7R is the rear, the quad exhaust pipes.
Yeah, I love the differentiation of it too.
And this one has got even more aggressive. I mean, I think if I look at the rear, I look at this massive rear diffuser, I look at these big pipes, this large wing, I mean, it really goes next level, right?
Yeah, one of the things that we saw a lot from enthusiasts and dealers and employees about the Golf R when they started seeing the European version is they saw this performance package on the European car that included this much larger rear spoiler. Big question kept coming in, is the US car going to have that?
Right.
And we're proud to finally say, like, yes, the US car comes standard with this much larger rear spoiler. And then, Hein, as you pointed out, we've got the gloss black rear diffuser. It is more aggressive than not only the GTI, but also the Mark 7 Golf R. And then your signature quad exhaust. One other thing you'll notice is that there is a full paint finish body kit on the Mark 8, which kind of goes back in time to the Mark 4, Mark 5 R32, as opposed to the Mark 7 Golf R, which had the gloss black body kit. So now you've got a full paint finish, really rounds out the rear view of the vehicle and the entire design.
And for the first time, the R logo no longer on the bottom left, but actually displayed under the Volkswagen badge. Now, we've spoken about the horsepower, we've spoken about the new DCC dampening system, we've spoken about these large brakes, but I think one of the magic elements of this car is really this new incredible torque vectoring mode, right?
Yes.
So, Megan, talk to us a little bit about how this torque vectoring mode works and how it shifts the power around.
4Motion all-wheel drive has always been a hallmark of the R32 in the past and the Golf R more recently. Taking it to another level with the Mark 8, still has 4Motion all-wheel drive, but instead of having the Haldex or Borg Warder unit of the past, it's now a Magna unit, multi-plate clutch, and you take the same amount of maximum torque from the front axle, which was 50%, transferred to the rear. Story no longer ends there. You can now take that 50%, and thanks to the torque vectoring system in this new diff, you can transfer up to 100% of that power that's been sent to the back to either one of the rear wheels. So not only does that help you steer and corner incredibly more efficiently, but it also allows the new Golf R to have 2 additional driving modes that we call drift mode and a special track mode.
All right, we've seen the outside, we've spoken about the engine dynamics, we've spoken about all the driver assist features. Should we jump on the inside and talk a bit about the interior?
Yes, and I'm ready for some air conditioning as well.
Let's do it. All right, so we're in the Golf R. I think one thing I failed to mention in the GDR, Megan, are these really cool little cell phone holders at the back, so that is pretty awesome on these beautiful seats. And this has also got that very similar digital experience feel. However, I am noticing a little bit more blue, a little bit more carbon fiber, right?
There's no mistake you're in a Golf R in this vehicle, Hein. Obviously, you've got a similar digital yet connected environment like the new GTI, but it's all R all the time. Steering wheel slightly different, blue accents everywhere. If it were a DSG model, you're going to have much larger paddle shifters compared to GTI.
Yep.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but there's a special button on the Golf R steering wheel.
I saw this little blue R button. Talk to me a little bit through that.
So if I tap the R button, it transports me to race mode, which opens up a new menu, which gives me access to new drift mode or the special track mode as well.
And you can hear that exhaust note change immediately as soon as you touch that button, right?
You can, yep.
That's pretty
back
awesome.
To comfort.
And now I see 3 pedals down at the bottom, and I see a big stick shift over here with 6 numbers on it. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, again, your eyes are not deceiving you, Hein. We have scored a 6-speed manual transmission for the Mark 8 Golf R. We saw the tremendous amount of success that offering both a manual and a DSG transmission gave to this market with the 7th generation. We had to fight to save manual for the Mark 8 Golf R, and I think we got ourselves a big win here in that only the USA and Canada have a manual transmission Golf R.
And talk to me, these seats are electric memory?
Yes, so standard on Golf R, you've got Napa leather seats. They are full power for driver with 3-position memory. You've got ventilated seats, heated seats. The rear outboard seats are heated as well, so comfortable year-round for everybody. Definitely a nice place to be.
And I see also the Fbk Digital Cockpit looks very different to the GTI, right? So that gets its own skin with own special screens?
Yeah, so Digital Cockpit Pro standard here as well in Golf R. Also with a heads-up display, which we'll get to in a moment. But you do have a special R mode, which, as you've noticed, Hein does give you a unique display for the Golf R. Awesome. But it's fully configurable, just like GTI.
And we didn't talk about that heads-up display in the GTI, but it's optional in the GTI too, right?
So the GTI Autobahn will have the heads-up display, and then, of course, the heads-up display is standard for Golf R. So you'll see information relating to the speed limit, your active speed, and then if you're using any of the driver assistance systems like the adaptive cruise control, you can see activity related to the ACC as well.
Now, I'm currently in a Mark 7R, and I'd like to ask you what this is over here, because I didn't see that in the Mark 7.
Funny you should ask, Hein. This is, of course, a sunroof. We finally have it for a Golf R, and just like GTI, it operates the same way with a simple touch to open or a touch to close.
Wow. And Megan, talk to me a little bit just about the offer trim structure. Is this kind of 2 trim, 3 trim, or do we keep it very simple?
No way. This is 1 trim, fully loaded. Choose your transmission, choose your color. Have a great day. Enjoy your Golf R.
Fully loaded, all equipment standard, no optional packages.
That's correct.
All right, Megan, there you have it. I think 2 fantastic cars. I think let's maybe sum up the GTI first. We keep with that simple 3 trim structure.
Same 3 trim structure that we enjoyed throughout Mark 7 GTI. So S, SE, Autobahn. Throw a couple of packages on our popular SE trim to customize it a little bit more. But with some exciting new color options and a familiar trim structure, I don't think there will be anything too complicated with finding the perfect GTI.
So it's faster, it's got more tech, yet it still keeps that very affordable sub 30 grand price point.
Correct. $29,545 for the 6-speed manual GTI S for model year 22. A winner right out of the gate. Super excited about that car.
And then, of course, Golf Mark 7R put a lot of pressure on this car to get even better. And it's incredible to see how this thing's advanced and how it's even grown this gap to GTI, right?
Yeah, this car, again, winner right out of the gate. You know, there's a lot of pent-up demand for both of these cars, especially for Golf R being out of market since 2019 model year.
And of course, I think one of the really cool things is all those cool features that Europe used to get that we never got, now all in this car, right?
I do really feel like we've done as best job as we could with this initial model year 22 brand new car, of bringing over as much European content as we could compared to any generation in the past. And that's something that we want to listen to our dealers and listen to our customers and continue to do for these vehicles, which are at the heart of our brand for our most enthusiastic customers. Fourth quarter, Hein, they're coming in as soon as we can get them here, and we're really excited about that. I know there's a lot of pent-up demand for both models, so fourth quarter is when they will be arriving.
Awesome. Megan, it's been great sharing the stage here with you today.
Likewise.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.